morning, Sedona. It is Saturday, April 27th, 2024, and this is Sedona Life with Stephen Hanks, Red Rock Country's radio magazine, heard every Saturday at this time on KAZM 106.5 FM and 780 AM Mellow Mountain Radio. I'm your host, Stephen Hanks, and I welcome you to a radio show that explores all the fascinating aspects of life in Sedona and the Verde Valley, and engages with intriguing personalities from all walks of life in our area. And I have a couple of them in the studio with me today. Today's show and all of my shows until the end of May are being sponsored by an outstanding local real estate company. Damien and Danielle's Sedona Village Real Estate Group with Coldwell Banker Realty should be your go-to real estate agents in the Sedona area. Why? Because their experience in the Sedona and Verde Valley and their dedication to this community matter. My producers, I actually have two of them today, behind the glass are Ryan Thompson and Chuck Helstein, who are the big mockers of this radio station. We're starting a little late today because some gremlins got involved in the festivities, but you're going to hear the whole show, and if you were planning on listening at 9 and for whatever reason tuned out, the show will be on a podcast that I post on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So you can hear the show in its entirety after we broadcast. Our theme for today's show is singer-songwriters in Sedona, which is very timely since there are a lot of very cool musical events going on in our area over the next week or more. And before I introduce my special guests in the studio, it's time for our usual top of the show segment, Stephen's Sedona Scene, when I recommend some terrific events happening from today into next week in Sedona and the Verde Valley. There's the Stephen's Sedona Scene theme song. So here we go. Strap in and take notes, because this is what's going on in town. Tomorrow and Sunday at the Verde Valley School's Brady Hall in the village of Oak Creek, 3511 Verde Valley School Road, you can experience the 9th Annual Piano on the Rocks International Festival, led by Festival Artistic Director and featured pianist Sandrine Ergoli-Seo. This festival started yesterday, and I can tell you from personal experience from being there last year, I'm also going to be there tonight, this is an amazing presentation of classical music. The theme of this year's festival is an homage to Gabriel Fauré, an extremely influential French classical composer during the latter part of the 19th century. And by the way, these shows are free to the public, and they all start at 4 p.m. Residents of Sedona and the Verde Valley area will experience examples of Fauré's music, as well as of composers such as Schubert, Ravel, Haydn, Rachmaninoff, and more. All played by excellent pianists. For more information, go to thepianoontherocks.org. Like I said, I'm attending today's concert, so if you see me there, please say hello, but not during the music, because that would be wrong. Also continuing today and tomorrow is the 21st Annual Sedona Spring Open Studio Artists at Work Tour. This year, the much-anticipated event has grown to include artist studios in Sedona, Cornville, Cottonwood, Clarkdale, and Camp Verde. The whole mishpucha is involved in this. The tour is sponsored by the Sedona Visual Arts Coalition, is free to everyone, and runs from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. all 3 days. Brochures with a map, a complete list of participating artists, and other details on scheduling, locations, and more are available at businesses, hotels, and restaurants throughout the Verde Valley, as well as at the Sedona Arts Center and the Sedona Chamber of Commerce Visitor Center in Uptown. Information can also be found online at SedonaArtistsCoalition.org. Tonight, beginning at 7 p.m., the Sedona Symphony is presenting a special concert under the direction of Artistic Director, Conductor Jana Himes. The guest artist is Native American flutist R. Carlos Nakai, who will be performing with the symphony and soloing some of his own compositions. The concert is at the Sedona Performing Arts Center on 985 Upper Red Rock Loop Road, and there are just a few tickets still available. So go to sedonasymphony.org or purchase tickets at the door tonight. For more music, tomorrow, starting at 3 p.m. at the Sedona Performing Arts Center, Chamber Music Sedona presents its final concert of its 41st season with an evening of saxophone and piano. 41 years. The saxophonist is Stephen Banks, no relation. Oh wait, he's Banks, not Hanks. I shouldn't have even gone there. Never mind. And the pianist is Zach Birkin. For more information on tickets, visit chambermusicsedona.org. Now, Sedona has had a long tradition called First Friday, when Sedona's finest art galleries invite you to enjoy special evenings of openings, special guest artist receptions, and celebrations at their galleries from 4 to 7 p.m., but times will vary based on the location. It is free and everyone is welcome to attend in these locations, which include Tlaquepaque Arts and Shopping Village, Hillside Sedona, Hojo, Uptown Sedona, West Sedona at Harkins Plaza, and the Village of Oak Creek at the Village Gallery of Local Artists. Go to visitsedona.com for more information. Now, Cinco de Mayo may be on Sunday, May 5th, but on next Saturday, May 4th, you can celebrate the day at Tlaquepaque Arts and Shopping Village. From 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., you can immerse yourself in a colorful fiesta saluting the rich heritage of Mexico. Enjoy the festivities while cheering and whistling to the music of mariachi musicians, clapping to the steps of folklorico dancers, and savoring traditional Mexican food. Again, admission is free to everything around here. You notice that? I mean, God. Here. You don't have to pay for any. Well, that's not really true. The restaurants, you have to spend some money. Like I said, admission is free, and there was a free trolley service from the Sedona Municipal Parking Lot at 260 Schnebley Road. I love saying Schnebley. I start going into my Jerry Lewis impression when I have to say Schnebley. Schnebley Road from 10:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. I'm a little punchy because we started the show late. And last but not least, on May 4th, and this is very close to my heart, you can have some great fun with your democratic politics. Did you know you can have fun with democratic politics? From 7 to 10 p.m. at the Sedona Elks Lodge on 110 Airport Road in West Sedona, the Democrats of the Red Rocks are staging their second Dancing with the Dems soiree. Come for a night of fun, laughter, and fabulous desserts, all while benefiting Democrats of the Red Rocks in their 2024 election year campaign efforts. This year, well-known Sedona area performer, singer Jeannie Carroll, whom my guests here know very well, will serve as guest DJ and will be spinning all the tunes appropriate for the demographic. Although I'm sure she will play some Taylor Swift on request. There will also be a silent auction to bid on exclusive items and experiences. I wanted to let Ryan and Chuck know. Last year at this event, there was a live auction for some really good wine, and I ended up outbidding everyone for a huge bottle, and I think it was like $175.
You don't
now I haven't opened it yet, and this was a year ago. So Chuck and Ryan need to come over to my place at some point and help me drink that guy. All right.
We'll be there. Sounds like a plan.
There you go. I knew this would get their attention. So,
Yeah.
For tickets to Dancing with the Dems, which is a $50 donation, actually, go to democratsoftheredrocks.org/event. And I really didn't even scratch the surface on everything that's going on here in the next week or so. But I want to get to my guests. So, given all this music happening in our area over the next week, it's totally appropriate that today's episode of Sedona Life with Stephen Hanks be devoted to celebrating a couple of local singer-songwriters. So let me tell you a little bit about them before we start what I think will be a fascinating conversation about music and the creative process. So, Vicki Oldham. In addition to writing and performing her original songs, Vicki is an experienced graphic designer who is passionate about creating original, innovative, and engaging works that inspire, educate, and entertain audiences. She is currently working on a Bachelor of Science degree at Northern Arizona University, focused on liberal arts to complement her background in fine and studio arts. Vicki currently lives in Prescott, and it's great having her in the studio today, by the way, with her guitar. I'm not going to say any more until we get to that part. My other guest, Chandra Jefferson, has lived in Sedona with her husband and performing partner, Tom Jefferson, for almost 22 years. She's shaking her head and telling me I got that fact right.
Yes, you did.
He's a Juilliard School of Drama graduate with 45 years of performance credits in the entertainment industry as a composer, singer, actor, and master voice coach. I'm sure there's a couple of more in there that we want to mention. Besides her acting credits, Chandra starred in her own shows and concerts in Vegas, Reno, tours across the USA, Canada, and Mexico, including on popular cruise lines. Chandra's original work includes 5 produced musicals, several CDs, and songs published in songbook compilations. Her songwriting awards include 13 music and film festivals from around the world, from Ireland to New York City. As a master voice and stage performance coach, she produced her own online video coaching program called Unlock the Singing Superstar in You, which I definitely want to unlock. I want to unlock a lot of things.
You're already unlocked.
I hope that's a good thing. It's available for purchase on chandramusic.com. I welcome both of you to Sedona Life with Stephen Hayes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us on.
Oh, It's my pleasure. This is going to be great. So I'm going to start our conversation with Vicki, and before Vicki starts telling us about her and her music, I'm going to tell you a little story about how I found my theme song that everybody hears at the beginning of the show, On the Road to Sedona. And I'll try to be quick about it. So my wife and I last New Year's Eve weekend decided to go to Vegas because we always celebrate New Year's Eve because that's the anniversary of our first date.
Oh.
So that's even bigger for us than our actual anniversary. So the woman warrior, who I call her, and I went to Vegas, and I already knew I was going to be doing the show because the owner, Chuck Helstein, and I had decided I was going to do this, I think in November, late November, after he bought the station. And so I wanted to come up with a theme song for the show. So the woman warrior and I went to Denny's for breakfast on New Year's Eve. And I said, I really want to come up with a theme song for the radio show. And just out of the blue, she starts going on the road again, do. Whenever it involves travel, she starts singing on the road again. She's weird that way. So then she went to the ladies' room. And while she was in the ladies' room, I went on my phone and I Googled songs about Sedona, just to see if there was anything out there that I could find. And amazingly, one of the first things that pops up is a link to this YouTube video of this woman singing this song On the Road to Sedona, which was in the musical wheelhouse of On the Road Again.
That is so funny.
And I was just so the woman warrior came back from the ladies' room, and I said, "Guess what? I just found my theme song." So that's how it came about. And now, Vicki, I love having the song. And by the way, Vicki is going to sing the whole thing live.
Oh, God.
In the studio. But thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks
you
so much for
letting
having
me use the song.
Oh, I'm
You're not
honored.
charging me a major
Well,
fee
it's a
for
big
it.
deal to me. Thank you.
And so let's start out like just talking about how you came to do that song, and then you can tell us a little bit about your songwriting process in general.
Well, gosh, this song is very autobiographical. And after 30 years as a contract artist, a professional commercial sculptor in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area,
Oh, okay.
we were working for Franklin Mint and Lennox. This is my late husband and I, Chuck Oldham. We created all kinds of things that gather dust on people's shelves, like lady figurines and little tchotchkes and carousel horses. We felt like, gosh, we had really hit a wall because those jobs were going to Asia, and we were quickly losing our prototype sculpting jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So we came out west to get a licensing deal. We went first to Seattle, then to Santa Fe. We decided to start working in bronze. And so all those foundries were taken up. So where did we end up? To Sedona. That's what got us to Sedona, to make art, to make sculpture. And so still the sculpture was so expensive to make. Just, making it in clay is one thing, but then paying for the actual process to turn it into bronze was another thing. So what we did was came up with other ways to make a living. And so we started a website called Gateway to Sedona. And so that turned our lives around. It gave us a chance to make a living where we really hadn't had a chance to make a living before on that kind of assured level. We started an advertising business with a website, Gateway to Sedona. So long story made short, I lost my husband in 2014, and I ended up I had left Sedona, and then I came back to Sedona, and that's when I wrote this, because what it does is reflect on the fact that I had, when we first came to Sedona and coming down the canyon, the words in the song reflect on Oak Creek Canyon being like this magical place that opens up into Sedona, and then Cathedral Rock kind of shows on the way down. It looks like you've come to the land of Oz. We were so enamored with that. But in fact, it did give us an opportunity to reinvent ourselves and realize dreams that we couldn't realize in our previous lives.
Yeah,
So,
one of the things that is fun about using the beginning snippet of the song for me, and where I told Ryan and Chuck to start fading it out in the opening, is right after the line, "My hopes and dreams I go."
yes.
It's just such a perfect,
It's true.
it's a, and I don't mean this in a negative way. It's a simple tune, but it's really actually profound in the message
Yes,
that it
Sedona
has
is not
about
just
this
a
area.
place. It's a
Yeah.
philosophy. It's a way of thinking. It's about, okay, you need to be somewhere, whether it's in your mind or in a place like Sedona, but Sedona evokes your mindset
Mhm.
to realize, oh, I am not stuck in where I thought I was stuck. I can become something more, or find what I always was.
Mhm. Right. Yeah. And it was kind of surprising to me, and I could be wrong about this. It may be that I just found your song and I was satisfied to not look any further, but it doesn't seem like there are a ton of songs that people have written specifically about Sedona per se.
Well, and the thing about this song is it reflects the experience from the before it happened and then after it
Right.
happened. The finding success, and not just success financially, but finding success in what you could be, but you've always repressed or you've never fully tried. For example, Chandra got her hand into pottery. I have some of her pots. She's a professional musician, but her dimensions expanded as well coming here that she never thought she could do. Her work is beautiful. So
Thank you, Vicki. Means a lot to me being that's from you.
I
because
have them on
you're
my
a professional. you know.
So it's
We all have this in common. I never thought I would end up doing a radio show.
well, see, it's just you get to realize you have opportunities far beyond what you
Those of
thought.
mortal men.
You narrowed down yourself, and then you have no one else to blame. That's part of
Right. Right.
you realize it, and you can't.
So
say-
you wrote this song in 2017, right?
yes, after
And
coming
how-
back to Sedona,
Coming
Yes.
back to Sedona. So real quickly, and then we'll have you play it live
Okay.
and sing it. What was the creative process like for this song?
Oh,
How long
gosh.
did it take you?
When I came back to Sedona, this is just among other songs. I'd wake up at 4 a.m. and it's all right there, and I just write it down. And I make myself get out of bed so that I write it down. So it just pretty much popped into my head because it reflects an experience over many years, and it was always there. So now it's all together in one place. And
That's
I just
great.
wrote it.
Okay, well, why don't you
Try to sing it.
try-
to sing.
do it here for our. This is a Sedona Life with Stephen Hanks first, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a live performance during the show. Hopefully, it'll be the first of a number of chances we have to do this. Sandra's already looking at me like, when are you going to have me do something live?
Oh, I wish you would go before me, Sandra.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is On the Road to Sedona by Vicky Oldham. Take it away.
On the road to Sedona, in my heart the only way I know. On the road to Sedona, following my hopes and dreams I go. For so long I felt uncertain, imagining everywhere's the same. I was chained to my vocation, lost in life with no one else to blame. Traveling across northern Arizona, first time in this magic red rock place. Captivated by my first impression, one my thoughts never could erase. On the road to Sedona, in my heart the only way I know. On the road to Sedona, following my hopes and dreams I go. Going down the canyon I'm reflecting on people in my life and where I've been. I finally see the light and hear the calling, and my inspiration once again. Aspiring to be a poet or a painter, discouraged in the past I never tried. Following my dream in desperation, now I know my passion never died. On the road to Sedona, in my heart the only way I know. On the road to Sedona, following my hopes and dreams I go. I'm not young, but I'm ready. I can be whoever I will be. So I make this promise and commitment as I reach my final destiny. And as I cross the gateway to Sedona, the past is gone and fortune waits for me. Red rock spires rise to greet me. There's no other home for me. On the road to Sedona, in my heart the only way I know. On the road to Sedona, following my hopes and dreams I go. On the road to Sedona,
In my heart, the only way I see. On the road to Sedona. Sedona's the only home for me.
Since we're not on video, they can't see that we're not standing. So
That's right.
that was great. You
Thank
did a great. I mean,
you.
you only get a taste of it
Thank
when I do the little beginning clip, but it's a really terrific lyric, and it captures like so much of the feeling of this place.
Thank you so much.
So great. So, what else do you have? I actually want to segue. The way I'm going to segue into Chandra is have you talk about you actually working with her. I mean, I didn't know this when I booked the show.
Yes.
But before we get to that, what other kinds of songs are you working on real quick?
I
now?
have lots
I
of
think you told
Arizona
me-
songs.
I think you told me you have another like kind of on the road thing.
I
going.
have a Verde Valley song, a Williams, Arizona song, a Colorado River song,
Wow.
even one about Arizona that you told me wasn't a jingle. Do you remember that?
And it is a jingle now?
No,
It's a jingle now.
it's
No, it's a song.
it's a song.
It's
Well,
a-
you told me it's a song.
Oh, I did. Okay, this goes back.
Arizona, Arizona,
I'm gonna-
Wildlife
Okay.
Park.
Okay.
I'm thinking
I
that
love
you
it.
might have written New York, and not Candor and Ebb at this point, since you write so much about where you go.
I write. Well, I like to write about where I go. It's
Yeah.
true, and so I do have a lot of place-oriented songs that because you get so excited and inspired by seeing all of these amazing. I need to write something about Tombstone next because that's where we've been going. I love it
That's
down
great.
there.
And also, so before the show, you were telling me about how some of the performing that you're doing now is performing for assisted living
Yes, and that helps me
centers.
so much.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, because I don't really see myself as a performer, but I got asked to help out with assisted living song presentations. And so one of the interesting things is a person who was doing it all the time with this other person passed away. His name was Bill Wolf, and he's an amazing musician. And he did the guitar while she did the singing, and he did singing too. He passed away, and suddenly his entire life's work of songs ended in my lap. And I almost took it as a sign that I'm supposed to carry this mantle now, this baton. And so I started singing with her, and now I'm learning old songs and wonderful songs that wake people up from positions in a chair where they look like they're not going to ever
great
come
work.
along.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So I refer to the January issue of AARP to say
Mhm.
that kind of explains what's going on. People actually are shown to develop new gray matter in their or
Yep.
white matter in their brain from songs that they know. So that's what we're doing once a month, going out and singing familiar old songs to entertain people.
That's fantastic. So tell us a little bit about your connection with Chandra, how that started, and that'll
We
give us a
met-
great segue
Oh
into
my
talking
gosh.
with her.
Well, the first time I saw Chandra and her husband Tom, they were in this amazing setup in the middle of a place that no longer, it's a business that no longer exists. It was, what was it called? It was
Sedona
the
Racket Club?
Sedona
Is
Racket
that what
Club.
you're? Yeah.
But it was a big get together for the Sedona Chamber, and they were just new in town, and they were doing the opera, Phantom of the
Yeah,
Opera.
Tom was singing,
And he had his cape on,
Yeah.
and she was so beautiful, and they were just like, oh my gosh, they were just spinning around and singing it was a soaring kind of presentation, and
Mhm.
a lot of people didn't even know it was going to be happening there, and so it was kind of show stopping. It was definitely show stopping, and that's how I got to meet Chandra.
And did you actually work with her? Because
Not at that point in time
Right.
yet, but then we were introduced by a sales lady we had in 2004.
Joy.
Yes. And then from that point forward, we were buddies forever. So
True.
yes.
And we were
That's
doing.
so-
Matter of fact, at one point, Tom and I were representing your company.
Yes,
The
you were.
characters. Biff
Oh,
and
they
Buffy.
did incredible
"Oh."
characters.
And then we did podcasts for you.
Lots of podcasts.
That was a lot of fun.
Yes. and kind of a far out space podcast with
Oh, we did. Oh, it was really
Tom and Chuck.
Yeah,
Do you remember
gosh,
that?
Yes. Oh, that was really
We had some
that was
great
really fun.
fun
Wasn't it?
times. Yes.
It was.
So
The great thing about this story is that if you didn't realize it before what a small town Sedona is, you get it when you hear that conversation. So that's great, Vicki.
we
It was
had
tremendous.
a wonderful time.
That's tremendous. So before we get to Sandra, I've got to give a little shout out to my sponsor, Damien and Danielle Sedona Real Estate Group. Nestled in the heart of our breathtaking Sedona, as Vicki just sang about, husband and wife Damien Bruno and Danielle Gian have not just lived, but flourished for more than 20 years in the Verde Valley. As pillars of the village of Oak Creek, they've raised a family, volunteered tirelessly with the Rotary Club of Sedona Village and Sedona Village Partnership, and for a decade have been the proud organizers of the beloved annual community barbecue in the village of Oak Creek. Damien and Danielle aren't just your next real estate agents, they're your neighbors, your friends, and a top Sedona team ready to support you, whether you're buying or selling. With 2 decades of real estate expertise and a love of our community that's second to none, Damien and Danielle Sedona Village Real Estate Group is the go-to business for your real estate needs. They want to make your Sedona dream a reality. So contact them today at SedonaRealestateAgents.com because community and experience matter. And by the way, just a programming note, on the May 11th show, Saturday, May 11th, Damien and Danielle will be with me in the studio, not only talking about real estate in Sedona, but about their community barbecue at the village of Oak Creek, for which they've asked me to be the MC, which is kind of cool because I live right next door. I can roll out of bed and do that. And KAZM will be represented playing music during the event. So Chuck just gave me the thumbs up. They're all psyched and ready to go for that. So KAZM is just, Mellow Mountain Radio is just becoming a ubiquitous presence
It's
in this
a
community.
force to be reckoned.
And I just wanted to say the word ubiquitous on the show, which is why I said that. Because I don't think I've done words with more than 3 syllables.
You mean you actually know
the word
words
ubiquitous
that are bigger than
3 syllables?
Wow, that's amazing.
Ubiquitous. Oh God, I'm glad I got that right.
I'm telling you.
I just counted
I'm
it.
telling you, it's like dangerous territory.
All right. Speaking of ubiquitous, my next guest is Chandra Jefferson, who is, I don't know, you know, who she's performed with her husband, Tom Jefferson, for as long as she's been, well, longer
I
than
have
she's
a
been here.
4-syllable word for you: effervescent.
Effervescent. So
Oh, you guys are sweet.
yeah.
You guys are so sweet.
So now I'll probably, you know, get criticized for saying something like this because it'll sound like I'm sucking up.
Okay.
You know, if there was a Sedona, like Citizen Hall of Fame, like in the music area,
second that.
especially,
I second that.
you and Tom would be
Thank
would be
you.
Hall of
That's
Famers.
so sweet. That is so sweet. Thank you.
And that's all the time we have for our show today. No.
And that's it. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being on your show.
All right. So, God, there's so many things I can talk to you about. What I want to do
Yes.
first
Okay.
is one of the recent projects that you've been working on with your dear friend and now mine, Dev Ross Reynolds.
Yes. My creative partner, Dev Ross.
There you go.
Yes.
Who you do a ton of stuff with, which hopefully we can get into some of it. But
Yeah.
tell us about, I want to lead into playing one of your songs
Okay.
on the air. So
Okay.
tell us about this song and the film or project Weird Detention that you were.
Right. So Dev and I have written 5 musicals together.
Wow.
And actually, it's more like 6 when I think about it, because we just finished one. I mean, she had a script that I wrote music to in January, believe that or not. And it's now has a shop deal. And that's Santa's Magnificent Four. It's a holiday animation movie. It's a feature. Now, this one that we're working on right now, we're actually producing the one that we're working on right
Right.
now. We haven't made the film yet. People can find out about it by going to weirddetention.com. All one word, weirddetention.com. It is a film, we call it, it's through edutainment.
Mm-hmm.
Different kind of word, right? It's educating through entertainment. teaching teens from 11 to about 16 conflict resolution skills, compassionate communication,
Nice.
active listening, which none of us do, right? You are right now, everybody on who's listening. So kids are on their phone 24/7, and so are we, right?
Mhm.
And we've all forgotten how to communicate and listen to each other. And also, it reflects on how to talk to each other when we're being bullied, when we don't disagree, all of those things. Very essential right now. 70%, and we've been doing all kinds of work
I
for
bet.
5 years on this. And it shows that 70% of mostly girls in that age range feel suicidal.
Yeah.
You know, there's
So
a lot of stuff,
tragic.
and many don't feel they have anyone that they can turn to. So we're teaching them through entertainment, because it is a musical, how to communicate. And it's going to be a 1-hour feature. Our director who's slated for this is Amy Waddell, who's
Mhm.
from the very famous Waddell family. She's wonderful, totally gets our concept. And so we're fundraising right now. If any of you out there who are listening and you feel that you want to be an agent for positive change, visit weirddetention.com and take a look and see what we're doing. We've got a stellar letter from our previous superintendent, school superintendent of Oak Creek, and Steve King, beautiful there. Dev took our curriculum and through improv worked with 130 kids in Red Rock, in our school here,
nice.
Red Rock High School, and stopped a fight
Wow.
with it.
Oh,
These
That's
kids
great.
were,
wonderful.
yeah, I mean, it's just the stories are fantastic. Out of those 130 kids, 75 of them wrote her letters about how this program has helped them. So it's a legacy project.
Yeah.
We're doing all kinds of stuff. I'm still doing my own things too, and so is Dev and Tom and I as
But
well.
this is really meaningful.
This is meaningful.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is something, and it's
It
not
is.
political, and
Right.
we are not against things like guns and things like that. We are about all of us coming together at a table, just like we are right now.
Yeah.
And being different and being able to communicate, just like the good old days. We learn from each other. And so I'm really proud to be a part of this project and to be the songwriter on
So,
it.
so I asked you to send me a tune
Yes, I
from the
did.
show. It was, and the song is called "Words Matter," which we're going to play. But right before that, I just
Yes.
you sent me the lyric sheet, and I want to read the lyrics in the chorus so the audience can get a different idea from when they hear the song itself. So the chorus is, do I have to do the ooh ooh?
No, you don't.
Words matter. You better know they do. What you say and how you say it is going to follow you. Words matter. Yeah, it's true. You better think before you say it and how you say it. You better learn to watch your mouth.
Can I tell you where that song comes in?
Sure.
So we have 3 characters. Think Breakfast Club gone music.
I was thinking about the
Isn't that
Breakfast Club when
interesting?
you were
Yeah,
talking about this.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so just a quick synopsis
Yeah.
of it is you've got 3 very disparate kids, meaning they're very different from each other. We have a physical bully who's ready to blow and very belligerent. We have an intellectual bully who bullies through his knowledge because he's so good at everything. I
Right.
mean, everything he does is perfect, and he knows it, and he flaunts it, and he bullies with his words. The other kid doesn't want to be seen. Her parents are immigrants. She feels pressured, and she's different, and she doesn't want to be seen. So this is a nightmare for her. And the kids end up in a weird detention. There's no windows. They can't get out. And then they find this very peculiar thing in the corner. They take all the storage blankets off of it, and they find this pinball machine. And when they start to play it, these 3 divas come out, and they teach them these skills, and they go back in time with them, and the kids become closer, and they help each other. And at the end, it's got a great ending. And so, anyway, this is the divas singing to Jace, our intellectual bully, because he's so good at everything. And I want to mention, Stephen, that this is what we call in the business a scratch recording. The reason why I wanted to, this is all me singing. These will be kids, Actually, the divas were, anybody out there know Pink? I think we actually know somebody who does, but the divas will represent 3 different generations of music when they
Right.
pop out. And so Susie Showmaker and Dev and I have been being the divas for our presentation. We have live presentations we're doing right now for fundraising.
Mhm.
with kids doing
Yeah.
the characters. It's been going over great. We're so excited.
Mhm.
So anyway, this song takes place when the divas sing to Jace. Like, you'll hear Jace because it's, me reacting. But
Yeah. One of the really cool things about this, and it speaks to the breadth of your songwriting style and what styles you can write in. This is really contemporary. I mean, it's rock and rap at
it
the
is.
same
It's like
time.
it's poppy,
Poppy and
hip-hoppy.
rocky and rappy and
Yeah.
really cool. And kids will relate to it. So Ryan, if you can pull up that song, we're going to listen to "Words Matter," Words and Music by Chandra Jefferson from Weird Detention.
Baby, baby, I gotta learn to watch your mouth, 'cause words matter. Words matter. You better know they do. What you say and how you say it is gonna follow you. Words matter. Yeah, it's true. You better think before you say it and how you say it. You better learn to watch your mouth. Darling, you better stop talking, 'cause you're putting your foot in your mouth. What? Why you gotta be sarcastically mean and tell us what that's all about? Well, actually, are you insidious, oblivious of the impact of what you say? You make a kid feel real bad, real sad. You ruin the perfect day. Words matter. You better know they do. What you say and how you say it is gonna follow you. Think before you say it and how you say it. You better learn to watch your mouth. Sweetie, stop being so cheeky. You're a genius. So what? Wait a minute. You're always spewing a steady little ditty. Come on, let's be straight up. You're feeding your arrogance with your intelligence. Your ego's off the charts. Hey. If you put yourself in their shoes, you feel the daggers in their hearts. Words matter. You better know they do. What you say and how you say it is gonna follow you. Words matter. Yeah, it's true. You better think before you say it and how you say it. You better learn to watch your mouth. Come on, admit it. You're always outwitting everybody just to make you feel strong. You're insecure and you know it, but you're never gonna show it. Being bratty, my boy, is all wrong. Your reputation is precarious, nefarious, contrarious, bad stuff you dishing out with sense. Oh yeah. You better get it together or you'll reek some cold weather when the day comes you're needing a friend. Yeah, you keep up that protesting. What you're doing is investing, 'cause what you give out will come back. That's right. It'll hurt you, haunt you, hurt. It'll will you in disaster into an unforgiving world of flack. Oh yeah. Listen what I'm saying, change your attitude you're displaying. A new way, a new start, be a mensch. Be mindful, kindful, helpful, delightful. Show respect, treat others decent. Oh yeah. Words matter. You better know they do. What you say and how you say it is gonna follow you. Words matter. Yeah, it's true. You better think before you say it and how you say it. You better learn to watch your mouth.
Wow. That's great.
Awesome.
That's a
thank you.
By the way, I should point out here that I'm, among other things, I'm really proud of you for having the word mensch in the song.
I figured you would love that.
Having Yiddish.
You're a mensch.
Thank
So
you.
you're a great example of
Thank you. Thank you.
You're a
I'm
mensch.
grabbing her hand right now. You can't see it.
freezing too.
Um,
My hand's freezing.
Yeah, but any chance I get to have Yiddish in any part of the show,
I noticed.
and it's Passover week.
I know.
I
It's
know.
very appropriate.
So here's what I think I need to do. As you know,
Yes.
I'm the coach of the Red Rock High School baseball
I
team.
do know that.
I need
yes.
to memorize this song and sing it to my
Good.
team.
Good. Are
'Cause
they
they-
using words that they shouldn't, or they're
Well,
not able to communicate, or?
They're definitely not using precarious, nefarious, and contrarious. I can
Yes.
tell you that.
I'll bet. I'll bet.
but yeah,
Exercise and alliteration.
that's really great. I mean, the whole
Thank you.
message is there.
It
I
is.
mean,
Thank you.
That's really great.
Well, what's interesting about this is I do love writing in
Yes.
all different genres. The one that got into all those festivals that you mentioned is Greed Incorporated, and that one is a modern heavy metal song, and it's completely different.
Yeah.
The people here in town, when they heard this song, Greed Incorporated, they were like, "Wait a minute, that can't be you." And I was like, "Yeah, that was me. I was commissioned to write that song." And then I created the music video, and it's really edgy, you guys. So buckle up. If
Yeah,
you go to Greed
it's edgy.
Incorporated on YouTube, look up Greed Incorporated. But anyway, with this particular project, there's Motowny stuff. There's stuff like this, pop, kind of hip hop. There's one that's kind of an Elvis kind of feel, 50s,
Yeah.
that Jace sings. Each kid has their own song, and each diva has a song for them in retort. Ashti has a beautiful ballad, kind of like, and I always think of my music as someone else's, so forgive me when I say beautiful. I'm just saying it was a ballad, and it needed to be about taking a risk to do the things that she wants to do, but she doesn't feel she can.
Mm.
And so we understand where each kid is by their song. And the third one, The Bully, she has a rant. I've never written a rant in my life. It's a poetry slam piece.
Hmm.
And it's really heavy because the kids don't understand why she's so angry. And we get that inside view.
Mhm.
So
So-
never written one of those before.
Yeah.
And put music behind it, and it's a speaking piece.
By the way, just to touch on the Green Incorporated really quick.
Yes.
One of the things that resonates with me about that, and I'm so glad you tackled that subject,
Mm.
is that's been one of my big hobby horses for a long time about what's really wrong with this country right now.
Right.
That, I mean, greed is so pervasive on every level,
It is.
whether it's corporate greed or even just the average person, out there. And, the middle class and working class and even upper class parts of our society, there's a reason for them to feel anxiety about money and might motivate them to have this sort of greed mentality. But it's really like pervasive all over the country, and it's a killer. I mean, it's
There's a
so I'm
narcissistic
gl-
culture.
yeah, I'm glad you tackled that subject.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about your vocal coaching sphere and your make people unlock the superstar.
Oh, well, thank you
know,
for asking me about
yeah.
this because it is a passion of mine.
Yeah, I bet.
I have more students now than ever. I don't know what is everything exploded in the last couple of months. And I've been promoting this video program that I have, and I've broken it up into 5 different modules. So people can actually purchase them as they wish. On my website, it will take you to the link and all of that.
neat.
And so there's one for performance. What do I do with my hands? How do I handle myself on stage? There's one specifically about dealing with why you want to sing and how to get over confidence. Stage fright, I should say.
Right.
Building your confidence. And so there's just different things. There's one that has vocal exercises and one that's about breathing and voice. I love coaching. I love seeing the light bulb go on and people get it. And for some reason, a lot of the people that come to me, some of them are professionals, but a lot of them are people who wanted to sing and are now making that step into singing. And then I have kids, also talented kids, 2 in which are in our presentations, which is
neat.
really exciting. They're doing a great job.
That's great.
So people don't tell, they go to a vocal coach, and rarely do I hear from them when they come to me that they've learned about support or learned about breathing and how to utilize that while they're singing. And of course, a lot of people don't know what to do when they're on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just don't know. They're awkward. They haven't had movement maybe. And there's also a lot of things that happen where people come in and they've got other stuff that's happening in their lives and they don't know why they want to sing. And so we
Interesting.
work through some of that. So I'm doing some coaching.
Well, and
in
also
that
when
way.
you're coaching people in Sedona, you're
Yes.
dealing with I would guess an older age group.
Not always. I do have some older students,
Okay.
but most of them now, it switches. It's really funny.
Okay.
I used to have lots of kids, and then all of them went away.
Right.
A lot of families have moved away from Sedona. It just happens to be that way. Then I ended up with older people, maybe in their 60s, but mostly now I'm getting 20s, 30s, 40s. I have a couple of older students. I have a 10-year-old too, and I have teenagers. And so I'm working with everybody.
When you
And
do
I love it.
when you do work with older people who
Yes.
want to sing and maybe have sung when they were younger,
Yes.
are there specific issues that are particular to them that you need to work on more than you would like a young kid or somebody in their 20s, let's say,
Yes. If somebody has sung in the past and they haven't sung recently,
like yours truly?
like yours, true. Yes, like you have. I know you came to me a couple of times,
Right.
and a lot of times, what happens if someone's not singing all the time, or maybe they sang in high school
Right.
and they loved it, or
Mhm.
college and did really well, and now they want to revisit that. I teach them from the ground floor because they probably have forgotten some of the things that they've learned, and some of them never took lessons. So I teach them like building a house. You build the foundation first. It's knowing about voice placement, breathing,
Yes.
support. And once they get to know that, they usually have a much larger vocal range than they think they ever
Right.
did.
Right.
So we start there.
Right.
And then I work with them on what they want to do, what their goals are. In your case, you've done a lot of singing and you're going to be doing some more. And so we worked
Yeah,
on that,
right.
right?
And now I
So
just have to find the time to work more with you.
there you go. And I would love that, Stephen. I would love that.
Speaking of working with you, you worked with Chandra.
Yes,
Yeah.
briefly, but my life was a whirlwind and I couldn't continue, but I learned some really valuable pieces of information that I can incorporate to this day, like certain vocal exercises.
Good. I'm
Make
so
a
glad.
big difference in the upper range and hitting the note right in the upper. Not that I did just then. I don't know if
No,
I
it's
emulated.
beautiful. Can I just say something about Vicky? You're one of the most talented, prolific songwriters that I have ever known.
No.
Yes, you write a
Oh,
ton
thank
of
you, Chandra.
songs
Thank
and a
you.
beautiful voice and
Thank
your own
you.
style,
Thank
and
you.
it's lovely.
Thank you so much.
You did a great job.
Great job.
I mean,
Great job.
to do something live
Live
like that
you.
with no
on
stopping.
the radio. I mean, kudos to you.
Appreciate
It's so
it.
true.
Really.
And I think probably that was one of my biggest challenges going for recording contracts is people would say I was doing a lot of rock and roll in the day,
Oh,
big hair
yes.
bands.
Oh, yes.
All
Oh,
that stuff.
oh, Stephen, if you ever have never seen her picture from the old days when she did rock and roll, you must
Believe me,
make a
she
request.
sent me a lot of her
Okay.
pictures.
I did. I sent him tons.
Oh
of
my, the
pictures.
hair was just
to prove that I'm not making it up.
No.
But one of the things that they always asked me was like, what kind of genre do you want to be in? You're doing rock and roll. Is this your heart? And I'd say,
Yeah.
well, I'm doing rock and roll, but I love this and I love that. Because I started singing and playing in clubs when I was 19. I had to leave the room because it was in California. You can't drink until you're 21.
Oh my gosh.
So during my
that's
breaks, I
right.
would have to leave, right?
Oh, that's
And so I worked as
crazy.
a single, working 4.5 hours a night just by myself. And I learned all kinds of music from
Yeah.
classic rock to country to blues to you name it. And so writing songs, started writing when I was 16. And I was writing songs. I grew up with James Taylor and Carole King and all these
Yes.
greats, from the 70s, Cat Stevens. And I loved that kind of music. But performing, I love all of it.
Mm.
But you do standards really well too.
Thank you. I enjoy we were talking about this earlier, and Vicky, you mentioned this too. My parents were always playing music in the house.
Yes.
My dad was the jazz and classical guy. He loved all that stuff. And my mom was more rock of the day, 60s and all that stuff, 70s. So I had a vast, and then we had someone who took care of us who loved country.
Oh my
And I got to
gosh.
hear Porter Wagner and Dolly Parton and
Everybody.
all these great people. So I was influenced, really vast music in the house constantly. And so I love writing all of it. And it just depends on I've written a lot of personal songs too. I have 2 CDs out, and one is called Inside Fire.
Oh,
There's a
yes.
lot of rock and roll on it. And there's some
That's
really
great.
personal songs on there that I performed live in concerts and stuff. I remember writing a song after my husband and I were in a terrible fight. And it just came
That
right out
happens.
of me. It happens. Life happens. And it's called When I Go. And I remember doing this in a big performance. We used to do my originals all the time, my bands, other, cover songs too. And I was in the grocery store the next day or something, and a woman walked up to me. She says, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yes. Why do you ask that?" It's like,
She
"Well, I
got
don't
it.
know. I think you've had a divorce or something. That song, it just, oh my God, And it's a personal song, and and you know this, Vicky, when you perform your own songs,
Yeah.
it's intense
They
sometimes.
can be. Yes.
It can
indeed.
be.
Yes.
Now, I don't write all personal songs because I do projects. I have to get outside of the box and think of, really understand what the characters are,
Right.
what the situation is, and what it calls for. I did write Keep Sedona Beautiful's theme song,
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yes.
and I did write a theme song for the Humane Society.
I remember those.
Because
They were
I want to go
beautiful.
home.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
when
so-
do you find time to write? Like, what's your squirrel away? You know, you're always busy.
I am.
You got tons of stuff to do
And all the
because
students who are
because
vying for her time.
because whenever I text her, she's like, I can't talk to you now. I got you know.
It's pretty.
So-
It's a wild ride.
So
because
when do you
many
find
things.
time? Are you writing at like 11 p.m. or something like that? What is going on?
So this is very interesting. We have something in common, Vicki. So when
Oh.
I get really clear about what I'm going to write about,
Yes.
and sometimes it is something off cuff that just comes to me. That happens often. I grab my phone and I'm singing the melody. And if
Yes.
the lyrics come, I'm doing that also. And I've
Yes.
just got tons and tons of memos,
Get it out.
voice memos.
Interesting.
And
Mhm.
it happens a lot at night. And it
Yes.
happens a lot when I do what I call mundane meditation. I'm taking
You're
a
doing
shower,
something
I'm doing
else,
laundry.
and there it is. All
because,
together.
right, because what happens is, this is my theory anyway, this stuff's in you. You know
Yes.
what you want to write about. It's
Yeah.
on the hopper, so to speak.
Yeah.
This is how it works for me. And then I clear my thinking mind by doing something that doesn't take a lot of effort. I'm cleaning the dishes. I'm doing, something like that. And
Right.
now I'm open. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to write.
Right. It has to be.
Now, when it's a project and it has to be done right now and there's a deadline,
Right.
that's when I sit down and I'll take whatever instrument I feel I need to be working on.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you bring up different places where you think of ideas. I don't know if this happens to you guys. And I'm always admonishing myself about this, but as a writer who does essays, mostly political essays, a lot of the points that I want to make in a particular piece, I get while I'm in bed falling asleep.
Ah,
Mhm.
interesting.
That's right.
So
And-
that
and-
alpha state.
And I
is-
still to this day have not learned how to keep a pad
Ah.
Oh,
on the
see,
night
It's all
table
gone the
because
next day.
I think this is so cool and so this sounds so great. I'll remember it when I wake
you'll
up.
never
That's-
remember
You
it.
never
Really?
freaking
No.
remember it.
And I've just learned, I've told Tom many times, like, look, I'm writing. I'm going to be up and down tonight. I can feel it's coming. It's happening. And I'll go through nights like that. I know it's happening. I wrote 3 songs from this musical all in bed,
Wow.
listening to a tone of something completely different and in my
Interesting.
ear, had nothing to do.
That's
And I just grabbed
interesting.
my phone and stopped what I was listening to and just started singing into my.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So you gotta get something.
Yeah,
Your phone
I
is
know.
great because you can't write fast enough.
That's true.
sometimes.
That's
Yeah.
true.
It's
I
getting
know.
better at.
Yeah. So
translating.
what is your big project right now musically, like that you're working on?
Musically, I'm working mostly on working for the assisted living,
Right, right,
learning
right.
all kinds of other songs.
Oh,
but
that's
I
cool.
have schoolwork and I have so many
That's true.
distractions. So I'm just sort of focused on that right now. But I have 50 different songs that I have to put into parts as I have done
Wow.
on the road to Sedona. And I just do that using a little preamp. I play the different parts and then I sing it separately.
When's your degree final? When do
That
you get
should be December. I say should be because
Okay. Yeah.
I'm so
Ooh, that's so
distracted.
good.
I know.
You may be
So
like me
good.
when I was in college. You're going to take an incomplete, and
Hey,
it's going
you
to
know
be
what? So far so good, but I knock on wood. Yeah.
that's great.
So good.
So what else besides Weird Detention and what you have a couple. You mentioned a couple of projects.
Yes.
What else are you talk really briefly? Talk a little bit about because I was involved in one of these. Are you still doing the musical
Murder
mysteries?
So performance. I'm still performing.
Right,
With Tom, we're doing smaller shows right now.
right.
A lot of the venues kind of disappeared from
Mhm.
Sedona
Mm.
during COVID.
Oh,
That really
that's
changed things.
True. That's right.
Oh
my goodness.
I have a movie that I'm actually up for writing rock and roll songs to called Sweet Child of Mine. I met a filmmaker and we've really connected. And so I'm
That's
doing,
exciting.
yes, it's very exciting. And that's one of the projects I'm looking forward to. And then Dev and I have another musical that we're looking at right now of producing. We just can't do it all. Right
can't-
now we're focused on Weird Detention. But yes, the performances, the musical murder mysteries, we get a lot of live in the living room kind of shows that we do.
And
People
where do
will
you do
hire
the
us.
musical murder mysteries?
The musical murder mysteries at my favorite spot is Soundbites Grill.
Sound bites. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought you were going to
Soundbites
say
Grill.
the train.
The train, we've not done any since
For
the
a
one
while?
that we did. Yeah.
Okay.
But Soundbites Grill for sure. Shout out to Steve and Michelle because they're awesome.
Great.
I love those two.
That's great. Those are really fun. Well, anyway, God, I wish we had more time, but that's all the time we have for today's show. I want to thank my singer-songwriter guests, Vicki Oldham and Chandra Jefferson. Thanks, ladies, for being here.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so much,
having
Stephen.
us.
And special thanks, as always, to my sponsor, Damien and Danielle Sedona Real Estate Group at Caldwell Banker Realty. You want to seek them out for your real estate needs because their devotion to the community and their experience matter. And remember to mark your calendars when on May 11th, Damien and Danielle will be my in-studio guests talking about real estate and the sponsorship of the upcoming Village of Oak Creek barbecue at Voca Park near the Oak Creek Golf Course. Thanks again to my two producers today, Chuck Helstein and Ryan Thompson, manning the booth and taking care of all the technical stuff. By the way, tell your friends who couldn't hear the show today that they can listen to a podcast version anytime on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And you can find Sedona Life with Stephen Hanks on Facebook and Instagram. And by the way, please email me with comments and questions to Stephen with a PH, that's the name my mother gave me, at mellowmountainradio.com. Please tune in next Saturday morning when Sedona Life with Stephen Hanks will focus on local authors with my special in-studio guest, Kristen Lazar, who will discuss her intense autobiographical story, and Tim Perry, who has authored multiple books and is also a writer for the Sedona Red Rock News. Thanks for listening, everyone.